a dynamic, vibrant, living relationship with the Quran. If the Quran is to function as nur, a vehicle, and you have to build a dynamic, a vibrant, a living relationship with Nabi Muhammad. I wish the Sufis had explained this subject better. We would not have all of this conflict in the world today. Okay, if this is the vehicle for travel, who is going to travel on the vehicle? In the case of Nabi Muhammad والسلام, and in the case of one other person, the whole physical body was transformed and traveled. Who is the other person? Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Why are you so hesitant to answer? Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Allah transformed his body as Allah transformed the body of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salam, so that they traveled. In the case of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salam, he returned. In the case of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, he will one day return. But in the case of a Sufi Sheikh, he said, if you take me, I'll never come back. So now, we can't go the way they went. So who is going to travel on the vehicle? Because if we can travel, we can see their plans. We can see what they're doing. We can see what is to come if we can travel. Yeah. In Surah Al-Mulk, Allah gives us the answer. الَّذِي خَلَقَ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا. He it is who has created the 7 worlds of space and time alongside each other. مَا تَرَى فِي خَلْقِ الرَّحْمَنِ مِنْ تَفَاوُتٍ. You will not find in Allah's creation any defect. فَارْجَعِ الْبَصَرَ هَلْ تَرَى مِنْ فُتُورٍ. Let your basar return. Do you find any defect? Meaning that it is with basar that you can travel and you can experience the samawat. But when you stand in salat, when he said as-salatu mi'rajul mu'min, that it is with basar, that which the heart sees, basar. It is with that you can travel. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may allow us to constantly increase our understanding and penetration of this supremely important event, to prepare us to face not only the world today, but also the world tomorrow. That we also might be able to get that kind of a heart which will allow us to travel and experience the samawat. Dajjal is constantly between the 2 worlds, this and that. And Allah is telling us that we have the capacity to penetrate the samawat. We pray that Allah may bless us with that. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين.
Assalamualaikum, Sheikh. Can you give us some insight on the New World Order? Yeah.
The New World Order is very old. It started with the change in Qibla, with the creation of a new Ummah, and they didn't like it. A new Qibla, a new Ummah, they didn't like it. It has proceeded with the efforts of Dajjal to try to successfully impersonate the true Messiah. The New World Order, every time it becomes another New World Order, it's simply another phase in the effort to eventually rule the world from Jerusalem. I've already explained to you what I did, but in this book, Jerusalem in the Quran, I've been able to do more extensive explanation to show how when Dajjal was in his first phase of a day which is like a year, it is from the island of Britain that he launched his attack. In consequence of that, Britain became the first ruling state in the modern world. And the world therefore experienced something called Pax Britannica. Only a Muslim scholar, no one else, only a Muslim scholar can explain Pax Britannica. No think tank in Washington could be. And then came the second phase of a day which is like a month. And Britain, the ruling state, had to give way to a second ruling state, and the New World Order moved into another phase. And Pax Britannica was replaced by Pax Americana, the United States of America as a new ruling state. And these ruling states were created and maintained in order to advance the mission of eventually ruling the world from Jerusalem. And when Dajjal is going to be in a day which is like a week, then Pax Americana will have to give way. And we are now living through that moment in time when Pax Americana has to give way. They can't stop it in Washington. They can do what they want. They've even jailed the head of the IMF. It's not going to stop it. And a new ruling state will have to replace the United States. And we say that that new ruling state is going to be Israel. Okay? And when Israel replaces the United States, the New World Order would have reached into its final phase. And after Israel rules the world for a day which is like a week, then the Dajjal would emerge and declare, I am the Messiah. But there is only one major force in the world resisting the Dajjal. Only one. I mean, we admire Hugo Chavez in Venezuela. Of course, we admire Evo Morales in Bolivia, mashallah. Yes, we admire these men. They are resisting. We admire the Turkish government, not the military. The military is an ally of Israel. But the Turkish government is resisting. We don't know when Pakistan will wake up. We don't know. But there is only one major force in the world which is resisting Dajjal. And that is the true servants of Allah who are Muslims and who are true followers of Muhammad. So the New World Order is actually the phases of Dajjal as he moves towards ruling the world from Jerusalem.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I was wondering if you could just point out the similarities between Dajjal in Islam and the Christian conception of the Antichrist. And I was just wondering why Christians wouldn't be able to recognize Dajjal when he manifests himself in this space and time.
Christian eschatology, excuse me, Christian eschatology is terribly muddled up. I don't know what better word I could use. In the medieval ages, when Christian scholars paid more attention to eschatology than they do today, a Christian does not know. And so he says that the Antichrist has to be a Muslim. The demonization of Islam has been so great by European Christianity. Antichrist has to be a Muslim. And because of the strange and mysterious alliance between Christians and Jews today, it is almost impossible for a Christian, any scholarship in Christianity, to declare that the Antichrist is going to be a Jew. But in our case, Nabi Muhammad was spoken with very great clarity. But apart from this, they do have some insight that the mark of the Antichrist is 666. 666 bears an amazing similarity with 600, stage 1, 60, stage 2, and 6, stage 3. A day like a year, a day like a month, a day like a week. The mark of the beast will be on everyone buying and selling. This is the paper money we're using, which is bogus, which is fraudulent, which is haram. The paper money that we're using. And tomorrow they're going to be using electronic money. In fact, electronic money has already taken over paper money. But the amazing thing is that Dajjal is going to have to bring back gold and silver coins as money. Yes. I was in a Christian, Jewish, Muslim dialogue at Drew University in New Jersey, in the United States. And there were about a dozen rabbis and more than a dozen Christian ministers, and poor lonely Imran Hosein was the only one for representing Islam. And I got up and made a blunder. I was talking about how you changed the Bible and you put now that you are permitted, you are prohibited from lending money and interest to your brother Israelite, but you can lend money and interest to me. I said, aren't you ashamed? And I said, this is what they were doing in the temple. When Jesus entered the temple, he found them lending money on interest. And that's why he cursed them. And he turned over their tables and he drove them out of the temple. And he said, you've taken the house of God and you transformed it into a den of thieves. Oh my gosh. The Christian ministers and the rabbis had a field day. They said, Imran, you're wrong. You're wrong. Let us tell you the correct answer. So I said, no, they said, people had to go to the temple and they had to pay to the temple for services. And they would also make donations to the temple. But Imran, they could not do it with Roman money because the Roman money had graven images, haram. So Imran, the temple had to mint its own coins. And when the people came to the temple, there were money changers. And the money changers had to change the Roman money for temple money. And in the process of changing, they were ripping them off. So you were wrong, Imran. Little did they know that in correcting me, they were so happy to correct me that day. In correcting me, and I'm grateful for them, they gave me the insight for me to say today that there's a tomorrow which is coming when Israel is going to have to mint gold and silver coins without any graven image.